everyone, and welcome to Eden Secret and episode 16 of Soap Making from Scratch. If you haven't seen all the other episodes 1 through 15, if you click the information card in the top right hand corner or find the link in the description box below, you'll be able to watch all the episodes up to press. So today we are making, for the first time, we're going to start to add milk into our recipe. Now, milk isn't something I add to my regular recipe. I tried milks years ago, but I didn't know what I was doing, so all I was getting was that stinky, horrible ammonia smell, and it really does smell of ammonia. It's gross. If you do it wrong, I didn't know what I was doing, but obviously I've watched lots of videos over the years. So I've learnt a little bit, so I'm going to share what I've learnt today with you, and we're going to use oat milk. I just thought, because we're also going to use oatmeal, colloidal oatmeal, I'm going to show you how to make your own colloidal oatmeal instead of paying a fortune for it. So I thought, because we're using oatmeal, we'll use oat milk as well. And it's a full milk recipe, so all that means is, instead of the water content, we're just going to swap all of that out for milk. Now, you can do it any percentage you want of that measurement, you can do in milk. So if you half it, again, I'm no expert on milks, but if you half the water, so put half milk and half water in, so 106 grams milk, 106 grams water. I don't think you need to freeze the milk. I think you only need to freeze the milk if you're using more than half of the liquid as milk. Hope that makes sense. So the ingredients we're using today is, we're using some castor oil, which I get from Just a Soap, some olive oil, which I get from my local supermarket Sainsbury's. I've got some palm oil, sustainable palm oil of course, some coconut oil in here, some shea butter, and we're also using apricot kernel oil today, which is really good. It's full of fatty acid, it absorbs beautifully into the skin, and it's really good for giving your bar of soap a really nice conditioning value. We're going to need something to blend up our oatmeal, so I'm just using a magic bullet. I have got a Vitamix, which blends up everything to a powder much quicker and much more thoroughly, but because I'm not selling this soap, I'm just going to blend it in the magic bullet, but you do need to blend it up as fine as you can, and the way you can test that is to see if once you've blended it, it kind of dissolves in water. Now, this recipe is what we're going to call from now on is going to be my more bubbles recipe. I've got a regular recipe that I use all the time that always goes in the description box of all of my technique videos, the videos you see more than anything on YouTube. So this is just a reworking of that recipe, but it'll give you more bubbles if you want more bubbles. But here we go with our recipe today. The NaOH is the type of lye. Our weight of oils is going to be in grams as usual, 851 grams of oils. Our water as a percentage of oils is going to be 25%, 5% superfat with no fragrance. And the oils we're using today are olive oil, coconut oil, palm oil, apricot kernel oil, Shae Butter, and last but not least, Castor Oil. So in grams, we're going to use 212 grams of olive oil, 283 grams of coconut oil, that'll give us more bubbles, 112 grams of palm oil, 100 grams of apricot kernel oil, 100 grams of shea butter, and 44 grams of castor oil. Make sure you've got 851 grams and then view or print your recipe. This recipe is going to be called the Episode 16 Soap Making from Scratch. And it's going to be the oatmeal and oat milk soap. And it's going to be the more bubbles recipe. So if you want this recipe, just get in touch through my website and I'll send you a PDF link to it. And then just check all of the weights and everything to make sure before you make any soap, just make sure that all of the numbers are as they should be. Now on Soap Calc, it'll give you the measurements in grams, ounces and pounds. And it gives you the oils in grams, ounces, pounds and percentages. So you can have this recipe, doesn't matter where you are and what measurements you work to. You'll see that the bar qualities are really excellent with this loaf. We've got good bubbles, nice and creamy and good conditioning. And I'm just going to write on the bottom the additives we're adding. So we need to put the oat milk in there and the oatmeal in there. And the oatmeal is best not to be used any more than 5%. But as you see later, we're actually adding 5%. And you'll see later that it's actually is quite a lot of oatmeal. But I love that. I love that it's got a lot of oatmeal because it's so good for dry skin. Also, I've worked it out so that it's a nice hard bar. It's very cleansing. It's right at the top of the scale for cleansing at 22. It's got good conditioning qualities at 53. Bubbles were at 27, so that's really high. Obviously, to get those bubbles, you've got to increase the coconut oil and some castor oil as well in there. And 25 on the creamy. So the creamy's not that high, but it's not really low either, because the lowest you can go down to is 14. So let's make some soap, and first up we're going to measure out our lye and our milk. Okay, so we need 122 grams of lye, which we're going to measure out first. And milk, we need 213 grams of milk. So let's see what's in this bag. Oh, 218, so we might just have 213. I actually made some in an ice cube tray as well, just in case we didn't have enough. That's really fabulous. 213 grams. think we might need to chop this this block up a bit first. So with milk, you're going to need to soak at the coolest temperature you can, because it's the overheating that scorches the milk, and that's what gives it that horrible ammonia smell. It's disgusting, trust me. See, it actually cuts up quite easily, doesn't it? Now the oat milk I bought is the one that has no sugar in it. And I thought next time what we're going to do is we're going to make a recipe without sugar and also one with sugar, just to see if we do get more bubbles by adding sugar. I'd be really interested to find that out. So as far as the lye is concerned, going into the milks, you just put a little bit in at a time, and then you stir that in, and that will melt your milk. And I'm doing this in real time so you can see how long it actually does take to fully melt. And you can see it actually doesn't take very long, does it? It's got quite a strong colour, the oat milk anyway, so it does look quite yellow, but I know it's not scorched because it's not stinking. it's actually really cool. We'll check the temperature of it as soon as all the ice is melted. So the temperature is only 39 Celsius. That's it, all of the ice is melted now. Now time to measure out our oils. Okay, so in this container we need 100 grams of palm oil. $283 grams of coconut oil. $100 grams of shea butter, and I think I've measured 100. Yeah. Now they're all the solid oils, so I'm just going to melt those. I'm just going to do it in the microwave rather than a double boiler on 30-second increments. So there we have our melted oils. You can see they've just stay melted because there's still a little bit of white on the bottom that I'm just stirring in now. So olive oil is 212 grams. I just went over a tiny bit. So apricot kernel oil we're using 100 grams of. And castor oil, we are using 44 grams. Now I know I've gone over there, but what I want to do is I'm not going to take anything out of it. I'm just going to get another jug that's exactly the same. I'm going to tear that, and what I need to see weight wise in here is 851. We've only got 842, so I'm going to top it up a little bit with a bit of apricot kernel. You can end up where it gives you a false reading on how much oil you've actually got in your container. There, 851 grams of oil. Okay, it's time to do our oatmeal now. I mean, why would we add oatmeal into a soap? Well, because it's very, very good for dry, itchy skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis, urticaria. I have urticaria and it's really, really soothing and lovely for that. We actually grind it up into a very fine powder so that it distributes throughout the soap fully, and you don't get any lumps of oatmeal in there. But there's nothing wrong with having lumps of full flakes of oatmeal in your soap. It's really, really good for your skin. So let's blend this up now, and I'm hoping that this magic bullet does blend it up well enough into that really, really fine colloidal oatmeal powder. So I will turn the sound off when I'm doing this because it's very, very loud. Okay, let's see what we've got. Probably a lot stuck to the lid actually. Oh, not so bad. It's very, very fine. It doesn't look like Ready Brek. I was wondering if Ready Brek was the same, but it doesn't look the same at all. So I'm just going to get a glass and see how that dissolves in water. We're not going to waste too much of it. I just want to see how that works. It. So if it drizzles to the bottom like that, that means it's fine enough. That's colloidal oatmeal. We're at about 35 degrees Celsius. The lower the temperature the better for making soap with milk, obviously, because you don't want it to heat up and get that stinky feeling going on. So we've got our oils melted here, and we're going to add in our milk and lye. And we'll give that a blend to emulsification. And then we're just going to add in the colloidal oatmeal now. I've got 5% colloidal oatmeal here, which looks like quite a lot, doesn't it? I have to say it's looking really good. Looked like quite a lot of colloidal oatmeal, but I checked and up to 5% is about the usage level, so I'm at 5%. Maybe a teeny weeny bit over, but not very much. So really looking forward to trying this one. I think it's ready to pour into the mould. And I'm not actually going to C-pop this, so this is just going to be cold process. Now, with all the soap making from scratch episodes, we've been C-popping the soap, but I definitely wouldn't recommend C-popping a milk soap, because any heat is just going to cook that milk and make it stink and make it go yellow. I'm sure it is possible to C-pop or gel, as we call it in the soap making industry, to gel milk soaps, but I'm thinking it's probably a no. You don't want to pick soap up and it smell like ammonia, do you? And if you want to see any of my Christmas soaps this year for 2021, I'll also add an information card in the top right hand corner of the screen. So you can choose the Christmas holiday playlist and you can get a look at all my Christmas soaps if you haven't already done so. Of course, if you have already done so, just want to thank you for watching and know you're enjoying them. Alright, so I'll be back tomorrow to cut this, but for you, we'll be cutting it in the next second. I absolutely love the richness and the colour that this soap has. It's just, obviously the colour is oatmeal, but it's totally changed the colour of what a regular bar of soap would look. So let's unmould it, shall we? You see how easily this loaf unmolds. Look how beautiful that is. That is gorgeous soap, isn't it? I love the speckles from the oatmeal. It just looks so good. So now it's time to cut the soap. Such a rich, deep coloured soap. I'm looking forward to trying this. So when we've cut it, we'll cut a sample size off it and we'll go and do a test in the sink as usual. And the test in the sink is done as soon as it's cut. It's not done after cure, so cure for 4 to 6 weeks. If you want full cure, do a full 6 weeks, and then you know for sure it's definitely dried out. But if you're going to be using this soap at home, you could use it right now. This is the sample piece we're going to use, the piece from the end. And this is just a regular potato peeler that I'm peeling the edges off with. I've bought the special tool that you do to shave the soap. I prefer the potato peeler. It was absolute junk what I bought. Be interesting to see whether this actually lightens up during the curing process. Alright, time for the test. Let's see what it feels like. This is our oatmeal and oat milk soap. You can feel, actually feel the oatmeal soap give you like a nice, very gentle exfoliation. It reminds me of, it's not a soap, but do you know Buffy, the massage bar that Lush does? It reminds me of that, even the colour and the feel. Obviously we've got no smell. We've got a really nice lather, but even though it says high lather on the bar, I'm not sure whether it feels like it's got any more lather than any of the other soaps we've done. It's a lovely bar of soap. Gives you some nice big bubbles, and it doesn't look as like creamy as some of the other bars we've made, but it's still a lovely, it is a creamy lather, but just not as creamy as some of the others. It's got a nice slip. And I feel a lovely, silky, slippy barrier on the skin there. Definitely feels different to the other soaps we've done. I don't know whether that's down to the oatmeal or the milk, but I'm not seeing a great deal of difference in using the bar of soap with the milk as opposed to what the skin feels like afterwards. It could be the milk, it could be the oatmeal, not sure. I guess we'll find out when we do the next bar of soap, which will have some milk in, but we won't be using any oatmeal next time. We'll use a different milk next time. Any suggestions on which milk you'd like to see next? I'm thinking like coconut milk. I fancy trying coconut milk, but there's all manner of milks. Anyway, that's it for today's Soap Making from Scratch episode 16. Remember, if you want to watch all of the episodes from the Soap Making from Scratch series, click the information card in the top right hand corner or the link in the description. And I'll see you very, very soon for another video from Eden's Secret. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye for now.